Madam President, in the last few years, we have seen dictator after dictator tumble across the world. Gaddafi in Libya, Ben Ali in Tunisia, Mubarak in Egypt, Saleh in Yemen, and eventually Bashar Assad in Syria. Yet there's one dictator that hangs on. He's the last dictator in Europe. You may not be familiar with his name, but they certainly know him in neighboring countries. He's the strongman president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. For more than 20 years, he has ruled Belarus with an iron fist, using a barbaric combination of repression, intimidation, and torture to maintain power. But I want to speak about something that's going to come up where Belarus and Lukashenko are going to become international celebrities. On February 16th, Mikhailovich, who I mentioned earlier, was one of the 13 that picketed the headquarters of Prague-based automobile company Skoda, a subsidiary of Volkswagen. Why did they picket Skoda? Skoda is one of the major sponsors of the International Ice Hockey Federation's World Championship and has been for the last 19 years. In fact, Skoda's, this automobile company's relationship with the Hockey Federation is one of the longest lasting sponsorships. And much to the disbelief of the rest of the world, the International Ice Hockey Federation has chosen to host its championship in Belarus. Why? Because Lukashenko, the dictator, is such a big fan of hockey. All the while, political prisoners, including presidential candidates, will be languishing in prison because of this dictator. Companies such as Skoda, Nike, and Reebok are among the major corporate sponsors of this federation championship in Belarus. Last year, I joined Congressman Mike Quigley of Chicago and National Hockey League Hall of Famer turned European parliamentarian Peter Stastny, and wrote to the International Ice Hockey Federation President René Fossel, urging the 2014 games in Belarus be suspended until the political prisoners are released. How can anyone celebrate the excitement of world-class sports championship when people are languishing in prison for their political beliefs? They ignored our request. I spoke to USA Hockey, which represents the United States in this federation. They paid no attention. It turns out the International Ice Hockey Federation will be meeting next month in Finland. Belarus is going to be on the agenda. It should be. It should be at the top of the agenda. The honor of hosting this prestigious international sporting event in a country where the president is regarded as Europe's last dictator is hardly a reflection of the quality of the sport that is involved. An ardent fan of ice hockey and the head of the Belarus National Olympic Committee, rewarding Lukashenko with the 2014 World Ice Hockey Championship ignores his regime's atrocities. I've tried to reach out to Skoda, owned by Volkswagen, and Nike and Reebok and other sponsors to let them know that their image is at stake too if they validate this dictator's policies and give honor to a country which doesn't recognize the basic freedoms. This photograph here is a photograph which shows the Skoda CEO, Winfried Volland, in the center, along with the Hockey Federation President, Faisal, on the right, as they celebrate Skoda's commitment to sponsor the World Championship through 2017. Skoda contends that its sponsorship of the event does not indicate approval of what's going on in Belarus, simply their dedication to hockey. That doesn't show much courage. Lukashenko's preparations for this ice hockey tournament indicates that Belarus is expecting a lot of visitors and a big economic boost. I'm once again calling on the International Ice Hockey Federation in their meeting in Finland to consider this matter at the top of their agenda and to suspend their plans to hold the Federation Championship in Belarus in 2014. There are many other countries around the world more than anxious to join them and make this a championship well-deserving with a host country that is one we can be proud of. My feelings about this are not alone. The European Union recently widened sanctions against Lukashenko and his cronies. Lukashenko promptly recalled his Belarusian representative to the EU, after which EU ambassadors were withdrawn from Belarus. After a summit in Brussels earlier this month, Lukashenko, never at a loss for words, criticized the European Union politicians and railed on the German Foreign Minister Guido Westerwelle the first openly gay minister in Germany. President Lukashenko said, "It's better to be a dictator than be gay." That's a quote. He went on to say, Belarusians deserve to host the World Championship in 2014. Now, that's incredible. What sports organization wants to validate those comments? I want to close by saying that I hope that the International Ice Hockey Federation's annual Congress will make the right decision in May. I hope that its corporate sponsors will feel a little uneasy being associated with dictator Lukashenko and his policies in Belarus. I hope they will suspend the 2014 championship unless the political prisoners are at least released, and that other international sporting groups, such as the International Cycling Union, follow their example. I want the United States, in partnership with the European Union, to continue to place pressure on Lukashenko to open up his political system and to stand by the Belarusian people in their efforts to bring justice to their country.